It was well past midnight when Lena's taxi pulled up outside the ancient house on the edge of Ravenswood. The sign hanging near the gate read Whitmore Estate, its letters faded and rusted. She stared at the boarded-up windows, the peeling paint, the overgrown garden where shadows shifted in the dim moonlight. She shivered though the night was still. She had been summoned here by her estranged uncle, Aldrich Whitmore, who sent her a letter 3 days ago after years of silence. He claimed he needed someone trustworthy to help with affairs, legal, financial, personal. Lena's parents had died when she was a child. Uncle Aldrich was the last living relative. The letter had said urgency. He seemed frail. Something felt off, but she came. The house, Aldrich said, was secluded. No neighbors close enough to hear if she needed help. She told herself that was fine. She was used to being alone at night. She lugged her suitcase along the gravel driveway. The gate's hinges creaked ominously when she pushed it open. Each step toward the front door felt heavier, as if invisible hands tugged at her shoulders. She knocked, but there was no answer. Pulling a heavy key from her purse, Aldrich had mailed her a copy ahead of time. She unlocked the door. The latch resisted. A cold gust of air greeted her when the door swung inward. Inside, the hallway was dim. Moonlight filtered in through dirty glass panes. The wallpaper peeled, revealing rotting wood underneath. Dust motes floated in beams of faint light. There was no sound except the soft drip of water somewhere in the walls. Lena closed the door behind her, the echo resonating in the empty space. She called out, "Uncle Aldrich?" Her voice cracked. No reply. She set down her suitcase. The house smelled of mildew and old leather. Somewhere distant, a floorboard creaked. There was something in the air, a presence. Lena flicked on a small lantern she had brought, its flame steady. It cast shadows that danced along the ceiling. Up the staircase she went, each step protesting. She found Aldrich's study. The heavy oak door was ajar. Inside, the desk was cluttered with leather-bound books, yellowed papers, strange symbols scribbled on notebooks. A portrait of a stern-looking man hung over the fireplace. Lena recognized him, Aldrich, but younger, with cold, hollow eyes. His wife probably, next to him, shadowed in darkness. The fireplace was cold, ashes scattered but no embers. She approached the desk, saw a journal open. The last entry was dated 2 nights ago. She read in shaky voice, "I fear I am not alone. I hear them moving outside the walls. Whispers in the crawl space. And every midnight, the attic door creaks though nothing moves." Her throat went dry. She spun around, nothing. Silence. Then she heard a whisper, just behind her ear, "Lena." She jerked. No one. Her heart pounding. She dropped the journal, pages fluttered. Then she heard footsteps above, on the floorboards above her. Slow, deliberate. She crept toward the stairway. Her flashlight flickered. She looked up into the darkness and saw a shape, a silhouette, at the top landing, hunched, unmoving. She swallowed. She whispered, "Uncle Aldrich?" The figure vanished. Lena ran upstairs, footsteps echoing behind her, as if someone followed. At the top, she reached a door marked private. Her hand trembled as she pushed. Inside, a dimly lit room, no windows, only a single lamp casting yellow light. She saw him, Uncle Aldrich, sitting in a rocking chair that moved on its own, even though no breeze came through. His back to her, ragged clothes, hair white. She stepped forward. He didn't turn. Then, the rocking chair jerked violently. She gasped. He croaked, "You shouldn't have come." His voice rasped, unnatural. Lena stumbled backward. As she did, the lamp went out. Suddenly it was pitch black. A million small sounds erupted, scratching, whispering, breathing. She tried to scream, but her voice failed. Something pressed against her back, cold fingers. She fell. Everything went silent. Then a single cough. A whisper, "Alone at night." Lena's eyes forced open. The room was empty. Aldrich gone. The lamp toppled, now extinguished. She was alone. And outside, the moonlight ceased to shine through the small window. Raven wings flapped in the rafters. She knew in that moment, the night was far from over. Lena awoke with a start. Her throat felt parched. Moonlight drifted through a slit in the curtains of that small bed she'd found in Aldrich's old bedroom. The air was colder than she remembered. Frost formed on the window pane, though outside the night seemed clear. She crawled from the bed, knees cracking, limbs numb. The room smelled of cold stone and dust. She glanced at the door, closed, but she thought she saw it breathing, as if the wood itself inhaled and exhaled. She swallowed her fear, grabbed her flashlight, and walked through the corridor. She tried the hallway light. Nothing. The bulb had long since burned out. She trudged toward the kitchen to find water. The corridor was long. At its end, a staircase descended into darkness. She felt drawn to it, as if something whispered her name from below. She paused. Behind her, something brushed past, a soft sigh or the rustle of fabric. She whirled. Nothing but stale wallpaper ripped in places. Her heart thudded. She hurried on. In the kitchen, cupboards hung open, plates cracked, glass shards on the wooden floor, a sink full of murky water. She turned on the tap, weak drip, then cold water spurted, sputtered, then stopped, then spurted again. She cupped her hands, drank. The water tasted of iron and something rotten. Then she heard a thump upstairs. Floorboards above her groaned. Someone ran. Lena froze. She listened, silence, then a slow drag, as if something heavy being pulled across floorboards. It came closer, then paused above her. Her flashlight flickered. The beam landed on a portrait hanging in the hallway, a family photo. In the portrait, Lena saw Aldrich and his wife and a third figure, small child, bare face twisted in shadow. The child's eyes were black holes. Lena's breath caught. She stumbled backwards and the flashlight rolled, casting dancing light on the walls. Then she heard it, a child's laugh. High-pitched, soft, and full of malice. It echoed. She rushed toward the noise into the living room. In the living room, the fireplace hearth was cold. Ashes on the floor. And behind the fireplace, she saw a hatch, a hidden door in the wall, slightly ajar. From inside came faint light. She knelt, peered inside. Nothing but cobwebs, old toys, broken dolls, the smell of damp wood. Then a tiny hand reached out and grabbed the edge of the hatch, groping. She pulled away, screaming. The door slammed shut. Silence. Lena backed away, stumbled to her feet, rushed toward the stairs. She heard footsteps behind her, soft, many footsteps. She didn't look. She fled upstairs, heart pounding, ears ringing. She reached a landing, at the end, a door with no doorknob. She pressed her hand against its surface. It was ice cold. She pressed, it gave way just slightly. Light spilled out. She pushed it open. Inside, attic. Dust falling from rafters. Old trunks, moth-eaten cloths draped over furniture. The floorboards groaned. A rocking chair in a corner. No one in it, but it rocked. She crept forward. Her flashlight picks up something moving, a shape behind a stack of boxes. She gasps. It retreats. She lurches forward. The shape darts out. A girl, maybe 6, her face pale, eyes wide, hair lank and dripping, clothes ragged. She stares at Lena, expression blank. Then she blinks slowly, and her mouth opens impossibly wide, no lips, just darkness. Lena stifles a scream. The girl lunges, then fades, dissolves into air. The attic lamp flickers, then dies. Lena stands in darkness. Then she hears Uncle Aldrich's voice, soft behind her. "You found her," his tone mournful. She spins, but no Aldrich. Just emptiness. The ghost child's laughter echoes. Lena flees, dives off the ladder, tumbles down the stairs. She lands hard. The world spins. She tastes blood. But she is alive. At the stroke of midnight she hears the grandfather clock downstairs bong 12 times. As the last gong echoes, she realizes she isn't alone, never has been. Lena awoke in the parlor, curled on an old sofa. Dawn's first light seeped through curtains, making dust motes swirl gold. She pressed her hand to her cheek, warm. She was bruised but conscious. No sign of the girl, the attic, or Uncle Aldrich. She rose. Head pounding. She found water on a table and drank. trying to collect herself. She needed answers. She passed through hallways lined with portraits like sentinels gazing, faces frozen in time. Some eyes seemed to follow her. She felt judged. She reached the study again. The journal lay open where she'd left it, but pages beyond the last entry were torn out. Only blank pages remained. She rifled through drawers. More journals, letters, receipts. Nothing recent except one envelope addressed to her, in Aldrich's shaky script. She opened it. "Dear Lena, you must stay until I return. The things that roam these halls are bound to the family. I have spent years trying to contain them. If you leave before sundown, they will follow you. Do not trust your eyes. Do not trust shadows. And especially, do not look beneath the floor." Her stomach twisted. Beneath the floor? What did that mean? She heard footsteps again. Not creaking boards but slow footsteps, approaching. She shut the envelope, turned. Silence. She decided to explore downstairs, the basement. She found a stairway behind a hidden panel in the hallway wall. The steps descended steeply into blackness. She flicked on her flashlight and began. The basement was damp, stone-walled. Water dripped from the ceiling. The air smelled stale, like rotting meat. Lena's beam cut across jars of unknown contents, bones, dried herbs, rusted tools. Old ritual paraphernalia. Symbols she didn't understand. She followed the beam to a low archway, crawling space. Beneath the flooring. She crouched, pressing through the small opening. Darkness enveloped her. She held the flashlight in front, the beam shaky. As she crawled, the smell grew worse. Earth, decay, something worse. A whisper, "Lena." It echoed from ahead and behind. She froze. She should turn back. She didn't. She emerged into a crypt-like chamber, rough stone walls, a shallow pit in the center. Inside the pit lay something covered by black cloth. Lena approached, heart pounding. She pulled back the cloth. Inside was a child skeleton, with brittle teeth in a grin, tiny skull cracked. Around it, names carved into the stone floor: Eleanor Whitmore, Judith Whitmore, Milton Whitmore. Lena swallowed. These were likely dead children. Family. They were buried here, not in earth, but in the house itself. Suddenly she heard Aldrich behind her. His voice distant yet clear. They were never to leave. She spun. No one. The pit began to glisten. Moisture turned to droplets, then thick dark fluid, like tar, oozing from cracks in the walls. The skeleton stirred, jaw-chewing sound, bone cracking. Lena retched. She crawled backward, trying to escape. The chamber door slammed shut. Light died. She could see nothing. The only sound her own breathing and the skeleton's grinding bones. Then she felt icy fingers grab her ankle. She screamed, dragged back toward the pit. As she struggled, a face emerged from darkness. A child's face, dead, eyes hollow. Lipless mouth stretched. It rasped in voice of long-dead echo. "You looked, you saw." The air sucked out of her lungs. She blacked out. When Lena came to, it was just before sunset. She lay on cold stone in an empty corridor. She staggered up, bruised, disoriented. She looked for daylight, for windows, for doors. All she found were closed doors and long walls stained by creeping mold. She realized with horror, the house shifted. Rooms she'd seen before had moved. Doorways opened to new halls. The walls moaned. She tried to find the stairs to exit but ended up in a gallery of mirrors. Faces reflected, her own face but twisted, eyes deeper, skin pallid, cheeks sunken. Behind her, distorted shadows flickered. She turned, but no one. But reflections showed someone walking past, someone behind her, but no body when she looked. She fled the gallery. She found the dining hall. Long table laid as if dinner was to be served, though candles melted wax and food rotted on platters. Something large moved behind tattered curtains. She peered, black shape, hunched. It shifted. Whispers emanated from cracked walls. Voices of children, women, men, all overlapping. "Help me, stop it." Lena clamped her hands on ears, the voices pierced. She stumbled. A figure emerged at the far end of the hall, Uncle Aldrich. He stood with his back to her, but something was wrong. His silhouette seemed to ripple, edges blurry. Lena called, "Uncle?" He didn't move. Then he raised one arm, pointed at the far wall. She followed his finger. There, behind peeling wallpaper, something scratched frantically. Nails scraping wood. Then the wallpaper peeled itself, revealing a hidden room beyond. Inside that room, dozens of photographs tacked to walls. Old black and white family photos. Children, siblings, ancestors. Over each face, someone had carved or scratched black ink, obscuring eyes or mouths. One photograph held her, baby Lena with parents. The parental faces marked out, hers untouched but somehow darker. She touched her photo. The moment she did, a whisper right in her ear, "Now you belong." She screamed. The photographs rattled. The walls bled dark fluid. The camera, an old box camera in corner, clicked. A flash, but no film, no photographer. She fled the room. Behind her, the door slammed. The hallway was empty but the smell, sulfur and decay. She heard feet running both ahead and behind. She ran blindly, turning corners, descending stairs that led to nowhere, landing back in the foyer. It was dusk, only faint light outside the front windows. She tried the front door, it was locked. The handle cold. She pulled, pushed, it didn't budge. Behind her something crashed. She whirled. A chair smashed to splinters. Then muffled sobs from the second floor. Lena ascended. Found the corridor silent. She saw a door cracked open. Inside, baby furniture, a cradle, a mobile with twisted shapes hanging above. The mobile spun although no breeze. In the cradle, a doll. Its face cracked. Its eyes moved, blinked. The doll's mouth opened. A whisper, "Lullaby." Lena backed away, racing down the stairs. As she passed beneath the chandelier in the foyer, she glimpsed her shadow on the wall, but the shadow's head turned slowly toward her, though she was running forward. She burst into the night. She slammed the front door. No one came. She ran into the garden. Branches snagged her clothes. The statues lining a path, twisted figures, cracked stone, seemed to watch. She fled into the trees beyond. Behind her, the house stood silent, dark, windows like dead eyes. When she dared to look back, a silhouette in the upstairs window watching. She didn't wait to see more. She ran into the forest in utter darkness. The forest was dense, engorged with the scent of pine and damp earth. Lena's lungs burned from fear and exertion. She stumbled over roots, branches crashing overhead, moonlight flickering through leaves. She didn't know where she was going, just away from the house. Her flashlight, still clutched, flickered. It died. She whispered. Only moonlight now. Every crack, every rustle, every hoot of owl made her swallow. Suddenly she came upon a clearing. In center, old rusted well, covered by a fallen grate. She gasped. Someone, or something, stood beside it. A tall figure, ragged clothes, face hidden under hood. The figure's head tilted forward. It spoke, voice like wind through dead trees. "Why have you come?" Lena backed away. The figure stepped into moonlight. She saw hollow sockets where eyes should be. Their mouth too wide, slashes like smile carved. No skin in places, bone visible. Lena dropped her flashlight, beam rolled into darkness. "Go home," the figure hissed. But even as it spoke, the forest around Lena shifted, trees bending toward her, their branches like arms reaching. She turned, ran. The earth beneath her seemed to pulsate. She tripped, fell. Pain shot through her ankles. She scrambled up. Sweat and cold mingled. She heard laughter, the same child laughter, mixed with whispering, "Stay, stay." Through the trees she saw light. She ran toward it. It was a small cabin, windows lit. She rushed up, pounded on door. No answer. She pushed it open. Inside, dusty but empty. A fireplace, unlit. Candles melting in holders. A rocking chair. A photograph, front porch of Whitmore Estate. Lena's face in photo, scratched out, name written beneath, home. From outside, heavy footsteps. Lena pressed back into corner. The door creaked open. Uncle Aldrich stood, silhouette framed in doorway. Dragging behind him, the small girl, face blank, clothes tattered. Aunt, or wife silhouette too, and many others, descendants of Whitmore, or perhaps the spirits. Aldrich said, "You can't run, Lena." His voice strong, though earlier frail. Lena screamed, then the cabin filled with shadows. The spirits surrounded her, dragging her forward. Her mind screamed, "Let me live. Let me go." She twisted, tried to slip away, but hands gripped her ankles, her arms. Cold, rigid. The girl leaned close, breath icy. "We have waited." Lena closed her eyes. Darkness swallowed her. When Lena opened her eyes, she was inside the cabin, but it was wrong. Walls bent at impossible angles, ceiling stretched, floorboards grown slick like skin. The cabin had become something living, pulsating, breathing. She struggled free of many hands, stumbled forward. Shadows peeled from corners, forming shapes, faces of Whitmore children, ancestors, people from photographs. Their voices chorused together, indistinct, accusing, jeering, pleading. Aldrich stood opposite her, expression hollow. He raised a lantern, its flame blue, cold. He whispered, "They cannot rest. Their secrets bind them here. And now you are bound too." Lena backed away. She looked at the photograph on the mantel, an old family portrait. Everyone stood smiling. Lena was not in it, but someone had drawn her, in black ink, beside them. She touched the frame, ink smeared onto her fingers. As she pulled away, a scream from the photograph. The people in it moved. They cried out, faces melting into dark voids. She dropped the frame. It shattered on the floor. Splinters flew. The cabin's walls moaned like agony. Light flickered. She saw a window, she fled toward it. Outside, the forest, but twisted, trees clawing at sky, moon full but red-tinged. She climbed out the window. Branches tore at her clothes, skin. She fell into underbrush. Behind her, the cabin roof folded back like paper, consumed by darkness. The voices reeled. She kept running, using the moonlight to guide. The forest floor gave way to marsh. Cold water sucked at her boots. Strange shapes moved beneath, bodies half submerged, faces lipless, eyes wide. She tried not to look, but water lapped at ankles. A hand reached to pull her in. She screamed, staggering away. Moonlight above fractured by trees. The night wind carried whispers. Then she saw a path. Old stepping stones leading somewhere. A ruin. She held to that hope. Finally she arrived at a crumbling stone chapel, ivy overgrown, doors hanging. She pushed inside. A lone beam of moonlight fell on an altar. Upon the altar, a ledger, the family birth register. She opened it. Pages listed all the Whitmore children. Name, date, manner of death. Many died young. Many names scratched, some erased. She found her name not listed. Her throat tightened. Then a cold voice, "Now you are listed." Lena spun to see the ledger glowing. Ink bleeding. On blank line beneath latest entry, Lena Whitmore. The ledger burned. Book flamed with ghostly blue fire. She dropped it. Sheets ash into air. The chapel trembled. Doors slammed. Windows shattered. She was surrounded. Aldrich's voice echoed, "Kith and kin, here we stand." Figures came from walls, floor, ceiling. Lena covered her ears, screams piercing. Moonlight flashed. Silence. Lena woke in the chapel's center. Alone. Broken glass around. Moonlight weak. Her chest heaved. She tried to steady her breath. She looked for exit. Doors boarded, windows shattered. She crawled toward altar. There, etched into stone beneath the visible, hidden under ash and soot, words in Old English. Only in truth can the bond be severed. Truth. She needed truth. But what truth? She thought of the journals, the children, the skeletons, Aldrich's warnings. She closed her eyes. Remembered voices from the crypt. They were never to leave. But because Whitmores bound their children to the estate with lies. That the souls of children born there must be kept, lest the curse spread. Aldrich had tried to contain them, whispering promises, sealing rooms, hiding deaths, but the darkness grew. She opened eyes. A shape before her, ghost of her mother. Pale, spectral. Hair flowing, face gaunt. She stepped forward, tears in spectral eyes. Lena said, "Why did you hide from me?" Her mother's voice, though faded, "He promised protection, but darkness owns promise here. Lena, the children, all of them. They suffer. Mother, they wander, bound to name and birth. You, born outside hope, may free them." Lena sank to knees. "How?" Mother pointed to Ledger's remains, a fragment still glowing. She said, "Speak, the truth of Whitmore. Admit its wrongs. Then leave the estate at dawn. Never return." Lightning snapped outside. Doors groaned. Aldrich's voice roared, "Lies? You betray your blood." The altar trembled. Shadows surged. Lena rose. She placed her hands on altar stone, voice trembling. "I admit," she recounted the truths, "that the children died hidden, that Aldrich sealed pits, that photographs were desecrated to hide murders, that she was not born to lie, but endure lies." As she spoke, stone cracks glowed, whispers shifted. The skeletons from crypt rose, ghosts flickered, shadows recoiled. The air seemed to cleanse, cold wind blew out of broken window, scattering ash. A hiss came from walls. Aldrich's figure formed in darkness, twisted. He advanced, face contorted. Lena backed up, refusing. He reached out. "Without me, this power is yours." He tried to grab her. Her mother's ghost stepped between, shimmering shield. Lights flared. Lena closed eyes, felt the coldest thing. The binding, the curse breaking. Aldrich screamed, dissolving into shards of shadow. Bones, whispers, darkness peeled away from estate. Lena gasped. The chapel ceased trembling. Mother whispered, "Go now. Keep the truth alive." Dawn's first light filtered through the broken chapel windows. Lena stood in the center, skin chilled, heart thudding. Outside, birds waking, forest rustling. The air smelled fresh. Yet something remained, a quiet sorrow. She stumbled out of chapel, stepping through shattered door. The forest looked normal, or as normal as it could after such night. The estate gates beyond were open. The front facade of Whitmore Estate looked less imposing, less alive, more empty, hollow. Lena walked up the driveway. Morning dew on grass. The birds sang. She paused by the once-locked front door. It hung slack. She touched it. Cold wood. Inside, rooms were barren. Furniture broken. Portraits peeled. The crypt beneath basement sealed itself shut. The ritual pits collapsed. Photographs cleaned of ink, eyes unscratched. The presence gone. She climbed to Uncle Aldrich's study. The journal she found earlier now intact, all pages. The torn pages restored. She leafed through, confessions, regrets, the final entries of Aldrich's pleas for forgiveness. One entry, "My family cursed me. My deceit made shadows. Let the truth set them free." Lena closed the journal and packed it. There was a solace in the knowledge that the children, the souls, would rest. But also no joy, only relief mixed with grief. As she prepared to leave, she looked once more at the photograph that once held her, eyes untouched. Now, the picture frame empty, her place blank. She realized, she had belonged, but now she must live outside. Not because she desired to, but because the estate required her truth, so she could be free. She got in her car, drove away. The road slippery with mist. As she passed the estate, she glanced back. The house stood silent, windows dark, gates closed. The moon still hung low, but its light no longer seemed malevolent. She exhaled. She felt alone, but more herself than ever. But sometime at night, when shadows long and wind whispers, she dreams of voices, whispers lingering at the edge of sleep. Whitmore remembers. She wakes. Heart pounding. Alone in the dark.